What's up, everyone out there in YouTube land? This is Comic Quarter 410. Finally bringing you part 4 of my variants and keys and stuff. As you can tell, I'm not going through my collection nearly as fast as I'd hoped. And I actually already shot this video, so I'm reshooting it. It's going to be mostly Batman books. I'm going to start with some recommended Batman Halloween reading. And I'm going to try and move as quickly as I can. So, unless otherwise stated, most of these books are in very fine and near mint. But starting off, I think Batman, as far as superheroes go, has the best Halloween reading. And I want to recommend, this is a 3-parter Elseworld tale, I guess, or series you could say. They were all original graphic novels, straight to graphic novels. This is Batman and Dracula Red Rain by Doug Monk and Kelly Jones. And great stuff. This is obviously the 3-parter where Batman becomes a vampire in Elseworlds. This is part 1. Part 2 is Bloodstorm. I bought the hardcover of that, and the other 2 are soft covers. And part 3 was Crimson Mist. And great Halloween reading. Great art for the Vampire Tale by Kelly Jones. Good stuff. And this is my favorite superhero Halloween reading right here. This is Batman Haunted Night, and it's a trade that collects Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween specials. And it's an excellent read. I highly recommend this. And if I remember, I'll put a link in the bottom, but a guy named Grade A Comics Reviews that I discovered recently did a very in-depth review of this trade and really gives you more detail on why this is such an awesome read. So check out his review, check out Batman Haunted Night, and if I remember, I'll put a link in the bottom. So, moving on here, going to get into the actual books here. Alright, sorry about that. This is the soft cover of Batman Son of the Demon. This is my original copy. I apologize for the glare here. It's tremendous, apparently. But has a little bit of scraping or damage right there. And other than that, it's in pretty good shape for being my copy, my original copy. And this is a great read. It has art by Jerry Bingham, who's highly undermentioned and underrated in my opinion. He also did some great work on Warlord, Marvel Team Up, Marvel 2-in-1, but his cover on this, without the glare that I'm giving you guys, is a beauty, if you want to look it up. So sorry about that glare off that Mylar there. But, the reason that Son of the Demon is a key issue is this is the first appearance of Damian Wayne, the latest Robin, who recently, quote-unquote, died. And it also has Batman and Talia's conception of Damian. Oh, yeah. Okay, moving along here. This is in pretty poor shape. This is Batman 156, and this is the Robin, part 2 of Robin Dies at Dawn storyline. And I believe this is a Nick Cardy cover. And this story not only has a backup where Robin teams up with DC's version of Ant-Man long before Marvel made him, but more importantly, this is the storyline that Grant Morrison referenced in Batman R.I.P. with his Zur-En-Arrh storyline. So, it's a good issue. This is a 80-page giant, Batman 203, and this is an early Neil Adams cover. I believe this is like his 2nd or 3rd Batman cover. And it has the secrets of the Batcave. And it's in pretty rough shape. It actually has some warping and rolling on the spine pretty bad. This is Batman 219. I've showed this before. This is a pretty sharp copy. And this is Batman 219 is Neil Adams' first full issue where he did the cover and interior of Batman. And I got Neil to sign that at Baltimore Comic Con this year. This is Batman 256, and this is a 100-page giant. And has Catwoman in it with her one of her stranger costumes. It didn't last too long. But it tells the story of the dinosaur and the giant Penny in the Batcave. So that's kind of cool. This I've also shown recently. It's a pretty sharp copy other than the spine rolling. And this is Batman 300. Got it signed by Walt Simonson this year at Baltimore. And this is the last Batman story, quote unquote. and it's, you know, it's a multiverse Batman, but one of the characters in that universe dies in this issue. This is, I've also showed this recently, but this is a Batman 366 classic Simonson cover. I got it signed by Walt Simonson this year. And this is the first appearance of Jason Todd in costume. This is Batman 368. And this is the first appearance of Robin as officially as Robin. Jason Todd as Robin, I'm sorry. So this would be when he first appeared in costume. This is when they officially made him Robin for the ongoing. This is Batman 408. And this is the origin of Jason Todd and how Batman met him. So a lot of Jason Todd stuff going on right there. Sorry about that, trying to make some room back here. Yeah, I was hoping to have gone through my collection by the end of October, and I'm on D right now, so it's not going too well, but finding lots of stuff, and that's cool. Moving along, this is Batman Year One, Part 1, Batman 404, and this is the seminal tale of Batman's first year in origin, in my opinion. Regardless of what they'd like you to think about Zero Year, this is the read. This is highly recommended Batman reading, and I'll go ahead and say, you know, Frank Miller is famous for Dark Knight Returns on Batman, which is a legendary tale and did so much to change the industry. But I honestly think that Year One is just as good of a read. It is an awesome story and essential Batman reading. Pick it up. I have the trade, and I have Year One, Part 1, 2, and 3. I need Part 4. I need to get on that. This is my Batman 428, book 3 of 4 of A Death in the Family, and this is the death of Jason Todd. And back before the days of internet and cell phones and text messaging, there was a number in the back of Batman 427 where people would call and vote whether Jason Todd lived or died. And the fans voted to kill him. I guess they thought maybe their book would be more valuable or something, but this is the result. And I was lucky enough to get it signed by cover artist and Hellboy creator Mike Mignola this year. Another book I've shown recently, but this is Batman 442, Lonely Place of Dying, Part 5 of 5. And this is the first appearance of Tim Drake as Robin. Signed by Mr. Perez. This is Batman 512, Prodigal, Part 1. And recently, well, not recently, it was maybe a few years ago, right after Final Crisis, when Batman got hit by Darkseid's Omega Beams, and he was quote-unquote dead, they had the Battle for the Cowl, and Dick Grayson took over as Batman. But that was not the first time that Dick Grayson was Batman. This is in Prodigal. That was the storyline of him becoming Batman for the first time, and this is the first Dick Grayson as Batman. And he had to fight Killer Croc in his first mission as Batman. Talk about getting thrown in with the sharks. This is the variant to Batman 655. And this is the first Grant Morrison issue. Andy Kubert did the art, but what's cool is his brother Adam Kubert did this variant. So that's a pretty cool cover. This is the Tony Daniel sketch variant to Batman 670, Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul Prelude. And I want to say, as a kid, I always called him Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul, and I thought that's how it was pronounced. The recent movies all call him Ra's al Ghul. So I don't know which one's right. Maybe you all do. Maybe it doesn't even matter. But anyway, sometimes I'm not sure about Tony Daniel's art, but I feel like when you see a sketch cover and you get to see the detail and tones of their pencil work, you get a real sense of what kind of artist they are, and that's a beautiful sketch, and I think Tony Daniel is good. I don't know, some of his covers, whatever, but that's a good one in my opinion. And this is another Tony Daniel variant to Batman 679, the Batman R.I.P. storyline that was referenced in the Robin Dies by Dawn storyline. And this is the Batman Zur-En-Arrh costume variant, again by Tony Daniel. This is another Batman R.I.P. variant. This is the 680, and it's Tony Daniel drawing Batman fighting the Joker there. Joker has two straight razors. And that cover and the next variant that I'm about to show you, they came out not too long, I believe, after Heath Ledger's turn as the Joker in the Dark Knight movie. And so as you can see here, this is the variant to Batman 682, Last Rites. And this and the Joker hardcover by Brian Azzarello and Lee Bermejo, they started kind of copying the scarred smile of Heath Ledger's Joker, in a lot of the Batman books. So that's the variant there. This is Batman Annual number 25, and this is the return of Jason Todd as the new Red Hood. This is a variant, I think it's a 1 in 25 variant to New 52 Batman 17, The Death of the Family. And again, that's a Tony Daniel variant. He's done a lot of Batman variants lately. And I'm not sure how I feel about this 0 Year storyline. I guess I'll wait till it's finished, because the last issue was a lot better. But I wasn't feeling it up until that double-sized issue. But I did like this 1 in 25 variant to Part 1. This is 0 Year Part 1 variant. Batman New 52 number 21. And it's by Jock. And I really like that cover. Good cover there. He did a regular cover for the Swamp Thing not too long ago in a similar style. And it was beautiful. I don't know. His pencils are sometimes, but his covers where he puts together, kind of like this realistic art and blends it into the costume. He did that with the Leafs with Swamp Thing, and they're good. Moving along, this is I'd give this maybe a fine to very fine minus. It has, you can't really see it. I'm sorry about the glare in here. It's so bright, but yeah, you can see them there right under a DC symbol. Two white lines where it breaks color, another small one there, 3 more there. So yeah, this is probably about a fine. But other than that, the cover is really bright and gorgeous. And this is one of my favorite. Marshall Rogers did great work, and this is an awesome cover. Marshall Rogers and the great inker Terry Austin they were a great artistic team on Detective. And this issue here, Detective 474, is the first appearance of the new Deadshot that we all know and love. This is Detective 475, another classic Marshall Rogers, Terry Austin cover. And this one's in rough shape. I'd give this probably about this is probably about a 6. But, yeah, this is a classic cover, and this is part 1 of the Joker Fish storyline, the Laughing Fish storyline, excuse me. And this is Detective 476, and this is a really, really sharp copy. I wanted a high-grade copy of this because I love this cover. This is probably my favorite Marshall Rogers, Terry Austin cover as far as Batman goes. It's a legendary cover. This is part 2 of the Laughing Fish story. And Eda Nick, however you pronounce his name, I'm sorry, Nick, but he does a lot of artist and inker spotlight videos, and he was telling a tale about Tom Palmer, and he made a statement about how, some great artists are even better when they have a great inker on them. Some guys' work you almost want to see inked by someone else. And I feel like as great as Marshall Rogers is, his best work was inked by Terry Austin. And I'll go ahead and say it. I love John Byrne, but his best art, his X-Men run, Terry Austin inking him, he's at his best. That's just my opinion. So moving on, this is Detective 600, and this is part 3 of 3 of Blind Justice. And it was written by Sam Hamm, who did the script for the 1989 Tim Burton Batman movie. That was a very hot book around that time. It has since cooled down. And while I'm showing keys, I just realized I have a CGC book or two that I should probably show. So you've seen this one before. And this is my copy of Batman 232, first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, classic Neil Adams cover. CGC gave it a 6.5, and as I've said before, I don't agree with that grade. I'd give this probably a 7.5, maybe even an 8. That's my opinion on the book. But beautiful cover, first Ra's al Ghul, however you say it. Great stuff. Okay, moving along here. More detective books. This is Batman Year 2, Part 1. This is Detective 575, and it's an Alan Davis cover. And as many of you know who have read Batman's old stories, his original stories, he detests guns now and refuses to use one under any circumstances because that's what killed his parents. But early on in Detective, Batman packed, I think it was a Colt 1911, but Batman packed a semi-automatic handgun. He did. So that's year 2, part 1. Alan Davis drew it. And moving on to part 2, I just want to say something. These books came out in 87. And in 88 and 89, 2 things were happening in the comic world that were pretty major. And the first was the announcement of the Tim Burton Batman movie with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton. And it was a big deal because they didn't do comic book movies back then very often. Certainly nothing like what they do now. And it was a big deal when they announced it, and people went bat crazy. It was Batmania all over again. And the other thing that happened in 88 was Todd McFarlane had done some work at DC, and then he went to Marvel. And when he went to Marvel, he first worked on Incredible Hulk. Then he went to Amazing Spider-Man with 298. Excuse me. And he just blew up. And Todd McFarlane became the biggest artist in comics hands down at that period. So with those 2 things happening, people wanted to go back and track down these McFarlane issues of Batman. So, for whatever reason, Alan Davis didn't finish year 2, and they put McFarlane on it with 576. And this is part 2, early McFarlane Batman cover. This is Detective 577, year 2, part 3. Gorgeous McFarlane cover, Batman with the smoking gun laying over the memorial at his parents' grave, with the huge, billowy, oversized late 80s, early 90s superhero cape. Great cover, though. Another awesome cover, and this one has a few problems, as you can, I don't know if you can see on the spine there, but it has a few dings there right by the price and number, and a couple more down here, and a small problem over the staple. Sorry about this glare. It's so hard to focus on these Mylars with this glare. There you go, sort of. Yeah, you can see the flaw in the staple there. But anyhow, this is part 4, another cool Batman cover. Moving along, I'll show this real quick. This is the normal cover to Batman Inc. number 8, the quote-unquote death of Damian Wayne, who they're probably going to be bringing back soon anyway. And this is the Chris Burnham 1 in 25 variant to Batman Inc. number 8, death of Damian Wayne. This is not a very valuable book, but a cool book, and I loved this series when I was a kid, and it's a cheap series to collect a run of, and it had a lot of great artists on. This is Jim Aparo cover, but this is Batman and the Outsiders number 1, with Batman leaving the Justice League to start a new team of Black Lightning, Katana, Metamorpho, Halo, and Geoforce. Love that book when I was coming up. All-Star Batman and Robin was a good idea. It didn't pan out too well. Because Frank Miller and Jim Lee just got way behind schedule. But one of the cool things about this series was the variants. Frank Miller did a couple early variants, but this is the one that blew me away. This Neil Adams variant to Batman, All-Star Batman and Robin number 8. And they were smart enough to leave it just as pencils. Leave it black and white. And what an abstract, tripped out Neil Adams cover this is. I can just stare at this for days. It's Bruce Wayne. There's a bat symbol on his left shoulder. He's putting his hand up to his head. But as he does that, his hand morphs into Batman's face, which is morphing into his face. I mean, just look at that. That's crazy, man. I could just sit here and try and break this cover down all day. And what a masterpiece by Neil Adams. Great, great abstract. It's almost like an optical illusion. Just great abstract cover. Love that variant. It's another Neil Adams variant. This is the All-Star Batman and Robin number 9. And, this is after they beat the hell out of Hal Jordan there. So, that's pretty cool, I think. Oh yeah, and before I move on, I'll show these. I've shown this one before, but I have both. Batman, All-Star Batman and Robin number 10 was recalled because they improperly edited an obscenity. And this is the recalled edition. And this here is my CGC copy of the variant recalled edition by Frank Quitely, and it's a 9.6 with white pages. Sorry about the glare there. It's very, this glare is horrible today, so I apologize. But that is a cool cover if you could see it properly. Okay, moving along. Put these down here. Okay, closing things out here. Sorry, this did run longer than I wanted to, but that's how it goes sometimes. This is the variant to Batman Cacophony #1, and I just like this variant because it's by the great Bill Sienkiewicz. And I love his abstract style. It's all these sketchy lines going through it. Arkham Asylum's in the back in red, almost illustrating the anger and the evil and insanity that goes on there. And Batman's almost like a reverse negative with the symbol and the cape being white. It's pretty awesome cover. I have all 4 of these. This is Batman Sword of Azrael Book 1. This is the first appearance of Azrael. And what's cool is these covers and interiors were all done by Marvel Editor-in-Chief Joe Quesada. Great stuff. This is Batman Adventures Mad Love one-shot, and this is the first printing. They try and say the prestige format isn't a second printing, but it really is, and this is the one most people want. So, happy to have that one. I got that one pretty cheap before it got too hyped up. This is first printing of Batman Vengeance of Bane from 1993, and this is the first appearance and origin of Bane. This is a great read, and what a gorgeous Glenn Fabry painted cover. Love that. Love that one. Last 2 books I'll show, again, things I've already shown, but they are Batman keys, and they are cool, so I'm going to show them again. And got this back not too long ago. This is my graded copy of The Killing Joke that I got signed by Brian Bolin, and that's just a key book, period, not just in the Batman world, just great story. You know, Batgirl gets paralyzed. Barbara Gordon gets paralyzed in this. So there you go. And this is Ed Brubaker and Doug Mankey's Batman the Man Who Laughs. This is my CGC copy. I actually have a reader copy as well. This is a great read. And this is the, I guess, first detailed telling of the Joker's origin. So great stuff there as well. So thank you all for taking the time to check out my Batman books. I'm going to try to keep going through my collection and come back soon. Sorry this one dragged on a bit too long, but I always appreciate you taking the time to come see my books, and I always enjoy checking out everyone else's stuff. So thanks again, take care of yourselves, and a happy comic book reading.